Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Logging for Deer. Got a really special guest here today, Jake Ehlinger. So what we're gonna do today, it's been about 6 months since we actually were in here doing the logging, in here cutting trees out, the crews were in here, the skidders, the whole thing. And so Jake, he's one of the few folks who's actually been out here in the very early stages. When I first bought this property, before we did anything,
we had anything done,
I gave you a call and you came out and did a walk with me, and he was giving me a lot of pointers. We were just kind of taking it all in together. And so this is really special because he hasn't been here since then. So since we had the logging crews in here, this is like the first walkthrough. So it's kind of like,
well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see like what you think, obviously, just when you first see all the open areas that we cleared, but as well as like, how do you think the logging worked?
Right,
do you think it did a good job?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure we'll get into things like, you know, different places to hinge cut. There's a couple areas I'd like to have you look in terms of where I want deer to bed. But all in all, we're gonna just take a walk today and we're gonna take it in for the first time together.
Yeah, so, yeah. Great.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
Seems like every time we come out here,
beautiful day.
It's snowing hard.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's do this. So you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
This is where I originally spent time clearing a little bit.
Yep.
This was this
Wow.
top.
Man, look what you've done. Holy smokes.
And is this good or bad?
Oh, that's incredible, the amount of food you're gonna have. What you're gonna find is in early October, it's gonna be impossible for you to get in and out of here.
Meaning there's gonna be deer
There's
everywhere.
gonna be deer all over. Yep. Where's your N, P, and K? Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Those are, and then your organic matter. Those are the most important things. Besides, pH is important too. You're starting in a woods, so
it's probably
not bad from an organic matter, but it may be really down. You may be high in some of those nutrients and really down on others.
Yeah.
Probably the simplest thing to do in the beginning is to grow grains.
Grains?
Oats and rye and that sort of thing, which is a great soil builder.
I can do that
really
in the spring.
Smooths, yeah, and the deer just love it, okay? That's the other thing. Easy to grow and the deer love it.
So should I, in terms of frost seeding, this March, I have some time. If I'm gonna do everything the same, what would you recommend? Just to like, yes, it's gonna work. Should I do a mixture of clover and,
Clover and oats.
Clover and oats.
Yeah, I'd say a ladino clover, you know, a white clover and oats, and go heavy.
Heavy.
I mean, like 100 pounds of oats per acre and probably 20 pounds of clover per acre, because a lot of it's gonna wash off. And of course, the birds are gonna come in here to just, your turkeys are gonna say, oh, awesome.
And so I wanna come in at a time where it's frozen during the night and it's warming up in the day, and it's kind of soaking into
the time we get into mid-March, you want to get out here and frosty. And if it sits on the ground for a month and a half before it germinates, because it'll sit there and eventually pull it.
All right, let's go to this next clearing here. Oh man, see all the hinge cuts I've been doing with all the smaller stuff?
Oh yeah. This is an incredible foundation to start with. But if you just look around and think about a deer, and of course the snow shows us really what's going on, there's places they're avoiding. Now in the rut, those does like to spin around, so the more holes, 2 to 3 foot openings you can make so these deer don't ever feel bottlenecked in, the more use you're gonna have, especially when it comes to predators, you know, coyotes and that sort of thing. Anything big, take down, because it's going to come down. It's all by itself.
You mean like these trees you said?
Yeah, these medium-sized, well, hinge them, like, and then come in and you spend 2 days, 3 days, and you really get detailed, okay? Winding, narrow,
but this is a good foundation
for sure. And I'll tell you, in 3 years, you're going to have growth in here like this.
And the deer
are just going to browse it like crazy. So not only bedding, it's going to be a lot of food. And just think of rooms that are connected with aisleways.
Big rooms connected.
And this whole thing has, you know, you might end up with 30 different rooms the size of this one, all spread out through here.
Got it.
And man, that's just what the deer want.
Yeah.
This is a high elevation, and of course bucks and does like high elevation for bedding because of the consistent wind directions. So this isn't your first place to work. You want to work in areas that aren't near as important to get your technique down and your experience, and then come in here and do your serious work.
Roger that. That's a really good,
yeah.
That's a good lesson.
Oh man, I'll tell you, 9 out of 10 people I do a plan for, they go to like their number one best area, and that's where they do their first work. They really do. And it's, no fault of theirs. They're just excited to get that spot worked out the way I've got it in the plan. And unfortunately, they make their share of mistakes, and then they go over to the one spot that wasn't so good, but now they've been running a saw and learning the last month, and they do a much better job over there. So,
yeah, so starting that's a very hot
Start in an area that doesn't matter very much.
Start in an area that's not great. Isn't this crazy?
Yeah. Boy, I remember coming up on this hill, and this was just a tiny little place where like 2 or 3 trails came together. One of the things you've got going on here are, beautiful mass trees, but they're on the south side of the property, so they cast a lot of shade into your food plot.
Yep.
And that's one of the biggest no-nos you have on a food plot. Okay. Is you need to cut your trees about 30 to 40 yards back on your east, south, and west sides, because that's where all the sun penetration comes in at.
Yes.
So that you get the maximum potential out of your food plot. The other tip is you're trying to go hunting. Let's say you're not trying to hunt this plot, but you're trying to get somewhere else.
Right.
You've got bedding over there. You've got to develop some type of screening, and you've seen my screening. Miscanthus grass and switchgrass and so they see you coming. And the easiest deer to kill is one that doesn't know you're there, right? You've done a lot of work. They did a good job timbering, but you have, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You have so much ahead of you. You see how far we can see?
Yeah, I know it.
You got to walk into my woods. There's few places you can see that far, very few places. And the ones that you can, I did it on purpose so there wouldn't be deer bedding there, so I could walk through it. Okay.
So what's the goal? Like, if you just look at just get in there and start cutting, just cut trees out, hinge them and cut them.
Hinge them and cut them.
You can't hurt nothing really.
No.
All right, Jake. So we've spent a good amount of time out here. We've walked some of the major areas and a lot of the food plots that you've seen.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think overall? Good, bad, and the ugly. How do you think we did?
You did a 6.
6.
Yeah.
I love the honesty, man. I do.
You bit off a lot to do. There's a lot to do here, Nate.
6 is average though, and I'm an average guy.
You did good.
No, I love it.
The beauty is, though, you've started with a 6, and a lot of people start with a 2 and a 3, in my opinion, as far as the woods and what they've done with it or what they haven't done with it. And where you can be in 5 years could be a 10. Okay.
Within 5 years, you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because the amount of food you're going to have here, and you're just going to have to learn how to access and get around it and not bump deer and what time of the year. And this is all going to come to you through experience.
Yeah.
But you're going to have so much food and attraction here, and so many multiple locations for bedding, that this will be a deer mecca. I mean, you're going to have a lot of deer here. You'll be telling me on the phone someday in the next 5 years about how many does you got to kill.
I like that. I like hearing that. So if somebody's watching this and they want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
The best way to get a hold of me is you can go to my website, habitatsolutions360.com, or you can send me an email to jake@habitatsolutions360.com, or I'm on Facebook, Jake Ehlinger on Facebook.
Yep.
Easy to find.
We'll link all this in our description and bio too, so you guys will be able to see all that.
Be happy to help anybody try and take their property from where it's at now to reach whatever your goals are.
All right, well, guys, I appreciate you following along with this episode. We've really enjoyed it. It's a cold day. It's about 10 degrees, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate you guys.